All right, we're going to get started with Unit 8, Lesson 5, Solving Rational Equations. So, as always, the first step is to factor if possible. But in this case, ain't nothing to factor there. Step 2 is to get a common denominator. This is something we will need to do. So what I'm going to do is I am going to multiply this first fraction by 4 over 4 to make it 4x. And then I'm going to multiply these ones by x over x. So now all of my fractions have a denominator of 4x. Step 3 is to clear the denominator. So essentially what's going to happen now is I'm going to multiply everything by whatever my denominator is. And what that does is it's going to cancel out everything that I had in the denominator. So all I'm going to be left with is whatever my numerators were. So I have 24 plus 5x equals negative 7x. And then the last step is to solve the remaining equation. So in this case, I'm going to move all my x's to one side. I get 24 equals negative 12x. Divide by negative 12. We get negative 2 equals x. And that's how we do it. Okay. Here, think of this as x over 1, since it's not a fraction. And same thing with 6 over 1. So again, nothing to factor here. Now I need to get a common denominator. So I'm just going to multiply these other fractions by x over x, which leaves me with x squared over x plus 8 over x equals 6x over x. I have a common denominator all the way across. I'm going to clear that out. So by multiplying everything by x, I'm simply left with whatever my numerators are. Well, that's an equal sign. Now, the equation that we're left with is a quadratic equation because it has x squared. If you have a quadratic equation, you need to move all terms to one side. Move everything to one side. We're going to set it equal to 0. So that leaves me with, I'll do it up here, x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Now, how can I solve this? I kind of gave it away, but we're going to factor it. You could use the quadratic formula, but that's way more work. We can factor this, and we've been factoring all unit long, so it should be fresh in our mind. So it's going to be x and x, minus 4 and minus 2 is going to get us there. So my answers are x equals 4 and x equals 2. So this equation actually has 2 answers. So if I were to go back and plug it into my original equation, 4 plus 8 over 4 equals 6. 4 plus 2 equals 6. Yes, that's true. If x is 2, 2 plus 8 over 2, 2 plus 4 equals 6. So yes, both of those work. All right. I would like you to pause the video and try these two on your own. This first one is a lot like example 1, and the second one is a lot like example 2. So pause the video, try these on your own. Ready, go. Okay, so in the first one you were trying here, we wanted to get a common denominator of 3x. So for the 2, you had to multiply by 3x over 3x to make those all the same. Once you clear out that denominator, you're left with 10x, and 3 times 4, which is 12, and 2 times 3x, which is 6x, which you can go ahead and just solve for x. It's a linear equation. The second one, we needed to get a common denominator of x, and when we clear that out, we're left with x times x, which is x squared, 6, and minus 1x. We move everything to one side because it is a quadratic equation, factor it, and solve, and you actually end up with 2 solutions. That, however, brings us to what we call an extraneous solution. An extraneous solution is a solution that seems like a solution, but it's actually not. It's like an extra solution that doesn't work. Extra solution that doesn't work. And we will see exactly what that means here in the next couple of examples. So, example 3, nothing to factor. Also, we already have a common denominator, so I can go ahead and just skip right to clearing that out. Those are going to cancel, and I'm just left with 3x equals 2x plus 3. Just going to subtract 2x from both sides, so I get x equals 3. Now, what you need to do is you need to go back to the original equation and see what's going to happen if I plug in 3 for x. So I'm going to have 3 times 3 over 3 minus 3 equals 3 times 3 plus 3 over 3 minus 3. 9 over 0 equals 12 over, equals still 9 over 0. However, anytime you get a denominator of 0, remember, denominator of 0 means undefined. So x equals 3, it's not going to work out. So this equation actually has no solution because the one solution that we found, it doesn't work. So sometimes you might find one solution and it works. Sometimes you might find one solution and it doesn't work. Sometimes you might find 2 solutions and they both work, or you might have 2 solutions and one of them doesn't work. Lots of possibilities here, but the key is that you have to go back and check and see if your solutions work. Okay. Example 4, nothing to factor. However, I need to get a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply these guys by 2. And this one right here, I'm going to multiply by x minus 7. Which gives me 4x minus 18 over 2 times x minus 7 equals, or no, that's a plus, sorry, x squared minus 7x equals 10 over 2 times x minus 7. Now I'm going to clear out the denominator, which gives me 4x minus 18 plus x squared minus 7x equals 10. Okay, this is a quadratic, which means I want everything onto one side. So I get x squared minus 3x, and I'm going to subtract 10. So I have minus 28. I can factor this, so I got to think, okay, what can I factor, or what can I multiply to get negative 28, and it adds to 3, or negative 3, and that would be a minus 7 and a plus 4, which means we get x equals 7 and x equals -4. So now we go back and we look at our original equation, particularly the denominator. Are we going to have any issues when x is 7? Yes. If x is 7, our denominator is going to be 0, which we can't have. So this is extraneous. And my only solution is x equals -4, because -4, when I plug that in, that's not going to cause us any issues. All right, almost done. Hey, anything we can factor here? Yes, indeed there is. This is a difference of squares. So I'm going to multiply to get a common denominator. And now when I clear the denominator, I'm just left with the numerator. So I get 16 equals 2x plus 8. Subtract 8 from both sides, and we get x equals 4. Okay, I would like you to give this one a try. So pause the video, see how you do on your own, and then come back and we'll see how it goes. Oh, actually, I just realized we need to check to see if this is extraneous or not. And it is, because look at what happens. If I plug in 4, 4 minus 4 is 0. So guess what? That's extraneous. So there is actually no solution. Whoopsie. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, give this one a try. Make sure to plug your answers back in, like I forgot to do. And make sure to see if any of them are extraneous. All right, go for it. All right, so we had to get a common denominator. This ends up being a quadratic, so you had to move everything to one side. Go ahead and factor it, and we get 2 answers. However, if x is 1, we're going to get 0 in the denominator, which makes this extraneous, and our only answer is x equals -6. All right, bring your questions, come ready to practice, and we'll see you soon.